the theater where we're shooting our interiors. Let me take you in, show you in. The key. After you. Floor layout also gives you a chance as a director to plan your shots out as far as okay, this actor is sitting on the couch, we're going to be shooting at this angle, and then our reversal will be at this angle. It's much easier to figure out the shoot for the day if you have something like this where you can scribble on it, make photocopies and such as that. We didn't really get around to doing that because there's so many other things to do. But if you have a lot of pre-production time, it's not a bad idea to have a layout that you can plan all your shots out on, and it'll really help your cinematographer out. Most of our set is just muslin flats. Sections like this is just cardboard painted to look like wall stuff. It's probably not looking real pretty right now, but as far as the wall colors and stuff, you can get away with being a little crude with your painting, and it'll still come out pretty well if it's lit well on screen. As I said before, the windows are modular. You can pop them out. They're held in by like 2 or 4 screws. You just unzap them, they pop right out of the window frame. Cardboard at the top and the bottom, these are just 2 flats stuck together. It's the trim boards that actually hold the wall together. The trim boards actually help a lot on your interior sets because the trim boards act not only as a wall stabilizer, holding your entire wall fairly sturdy if there's more than one piece on a single wall, but it also acts as a lip that you can hang your ceiling, or you can rest your ceiling pieces on. Our background is some lovely lace curtains that our prop lady, Pat Yoakum, got for us. As you can see, there's really nothing out there that you'd want audiences to see. We have yet to clean up from Max's brain blowout. A lot of this is just paper towels soaked in fake blood, thrown on the wall to look like brains and stuff. It's been a while since we did this scene because it's a little chewy. You have to water down the back of the flat to take that pucker out. When you see our fireplace up close and personal, it might not look as realistic as when it's lit well. But principally, this was built by John Herzog for a production that was here at the community theater, and we just kind of toned it down a little bit with some spray paint to give it a little softer look. Basically just a Luan covered frame with styrofoam rocks glued on and then spattered with different textures of paints to give it some depth and tone, and then gone over with some spray paint in the cracks and stuff to lighten it up and darken the mortar areas. Our hallway right off the living room, as you can see, we got some pretty mangy doors out of that house, which add a lot to the look, and it gives it a much more realistic look if you can use real doors and window frames. We have our ceiling piece in here. As you can see, it ends right here at I believe it's must be 9 feet, 9 or 10 feet, something like that. And this is just resting on the trim boards up above. With the stark lighting, you can really kind of see our scenes here, but they're just, the flats are just butted up together, zapped together, and then taped with plain old masking tape, and then kind of painted over to match the walls. When we break down the set, we just take down individual flats or 2 flats at a time and move them in a section, and then piece them back together. This door doesn't open, and as you can see, this door opens into pretty much nothing, the backstage of the theater. The theater itself is it's a nice little facility to shoot in. We could have held out for something bigger, but this theater had other benefits like lighting equipment and electrical outlets that we could utilize. And on the other side of the theater is the kitchen. Let's have a look. There's a big gap between our living room and our kitchen. Actually, this, from here to here, is our entryway. And this wall actually should be that archway right there. But because of the different level variations with the rotation piece on the floor, we were not able to build the entire set off in that direction. Again, a lot of this is cardboard, 2x4s and 1x4s. Here's our screen door. We had to build two different screen doors because our screen door would not fit the screen door at the actual location. Through here, we have the dining room, minus its curtains because the curtain is at the actual location at this point. Things like nice old furniture will add a lot to your set. Now this wall, or lack of wall, is actually that wall over in the living room right now. In a certain direction, when we need this room put together, we just bring it over from the living room. There are certain shots earlier when we were shooting the first weekend where the set was not configured like this on the stage. The set was actually, the dining room was actually over on that side of the stage, then the entryway, and then the living room was here. And we had no kitchen and hallway. So we could get some nice shots looking from the living room into the dining room, which had the wall, or from the dining room into the living room, which had the wall. Which brings us over to the kitchen. Again, the countertops were just an item that the community theater had. The lace curtains obscure things a bit, so we don't see the outside too well. Luckily, the theater had a nice old refrigerator for us to use. The refrigerator did have a huge block of ice in it, but for some reason the switch broke, and we had an iceberg melt all over the stage. So be sure that things are in working order so they don't destroy the floor. These flats here were just flats from an old show, and I thought, we were getting really tired at about 3 or 4 in the morning painting, and we said, this doesn't look too bad, we'll keep it. These pieces can be removed in here, and the stove can be moved out of the way, and we can roll the dolly into the dining room area, which makes it a little easier for us to work the crane and get our sound people and all of our crew out of the way, which gives us a lot more room to play with our actors. This is the lovely theater. As you can see, here's the back side of the kitchen. Here's our sky sights for behind the kitchen wall. These are our nice ones. The other ones are a little ratty, but due to height considerations, we couldn't move those over there. But basically, this part of the theater goes completely unused while we're shooting. It's a pretty nice space.
Welcome back to Two Guys in a Small Room. We're going to talk a little bit about the special effects about the movie. One of them primarily being makeup effects, which Brian Sipe down in Southern California had put together for us. Mm-hmm. We didn't have an on-site makeup guy who just did makeup. Jeff and I did some additional makeup and did the application of the mask for the creature at the end. And Greg here wore the mask at the end.
Yep, that was the guy that they applied it to.
Greg is very accustomed to sensory deprivation now.
And it helped me feel the character, which was nice. I mean, you know, in terms of acting.
Combination of the two fists that morphed together was simply just a nylon stocking wrapped around Greg and Brad's hands, glued down with liquid latex, and then covered with some skin tone makeup to blend them together as best we could. You can see seams on it a little bit. But, you know, it works.
The interesting thing about that, I remember when we did it, we did it the first time. without the morph, as if before it was going to morph together.
Yeah, we had to trace it. We had a monitor on set that we used a dry erase marker,
Right.
and we traced their punch on the screen where their hands actually met and contacted.
Actually, on the monitor itself, traced it dry
Right.
erase.
So when we did the makeup effect over both hands, we just lined up their wrists and the general position of both fists and how they were positioned in the punch, which were covered with the stocking with the latex. And then we were able to get a continuation of that shot and then blend those two together with the morph. The morphing was just simply a like $145 computer program. We got it cheaper, I think, because we bought it through Pacific University. That program, we messed around with it for a week or two, and that ended up doing all the morphs from the small scale model of the boatman into my face with the robe. Greg's clothes morphing off, Brad and Jay's clothes morphing off, and
Anytime you can morph out clothes,
Right.
do it in a picture.
and Brad's face to the mask of Greg in the mask, and had to line those up. The trick with morphing is there's a lot of low budget features that were made before ours that showed morphing, and you always knew where the morph was. They kind of would have you go into the shot, freeze in a position, they would morph, and then they would move on. We tried to keep it more dynamic, and the trick primarily is to cut at the end of the morph, so you never really saw the full transformation to the last frame. It kept it a little more visually stimulating and exciting, I think. The other thing we did all of our titling, and we did some composites in After Effects, which is an excellent tool for your computer.
Yes.
The new opening sequence and the old opening sequence, which is also on this disc, were both done in After Effects with just Photoshop files. And the composites, there's a composite in the film that you don't really notice. You never actually see us in the same frame with the house. That's because it's actually a Photoshop file with an animated cloud background. We digitally removed the second story of the house because in the script it's a one-story house, and people said, well, why don't you just make it a two-story house? And I said, well, it doesn't really work, otherwise
Right.
people are going to go, well, what's upstairs? Why don't they ever go upstairs? So it was actually a pretty easy effect to achieve by just making a photo composite in Photoshop, importing that into After Effects, and just moving some sky images behind it very slowly, keying out the sky around the trees and around the house.
As easy it was to achieve, I do need to give full credit to Jeff Yarnell
Yes,
for
he did
creating that.
excellent job on that.
That was
Jeff had actually done one shot, which maybe we'll show it right now, where I'm walking up to the house, and it was supposed to be after Al disappears, and I discover that Jillian Dawn has been raped.
Right.
But the pace of my walking was so incorrect from shot to shot that we couldn't use it, and it's too bad that we couldn't, because it was, it was a pretty seamless shot, and nobody would have been the wiser. There was a whole bunch of animation in the film as well.
More so than we thought there would end up being. I think we actually had to resort to animation a lot more than we wanted to originally.
Yeah. Originally we were going to do 3D computer-generated images, and we'd shot plates for it. But our 3D guys fell through the cracks. They started asking for money and things like that, which often happens on a low-budget feature. What we did get, though, was excellent. We got Webster Colcord, who is a both stop-motion and computer animator. He worked on The Matrix Revolutions, which is coming out later this year. He's worked on Ants and
James and
the Giant Peach. And he did some shots, and some of the shots didn't really match the pacing. So Jeff and I and Greg sat down, and I had the mock-up that Webster had used, the puppet, and I built a scale version of the kitchen to do some shots. Actually, there's the shot of the tentacles shooting out of the door. That's actually live shot with the tentacles being pulled out in reverse, and we put some motion blur and reversed it. And then there's a tentacle wrapping around the leg, and some shots of the tentacle grabbing him, pulling him in the doorway, and things like that. But here to tell you a little more about the animation is Webster Colcord.
I pop in there for a frame. There's actually a blink there. Not that you would really notice, but it's there. And there was sort of Mike sculpted this GIMP stretchy phallic head thing, and I did the final paint job and the final. I added sort of a membranous layer over the top, which sort of peels off as it comes forward. You can't really see it. You can't really see it in the final, but that's what those stretchy things are there. He does a little struggle, like he's being held back by these tentacles. This is the shock angle, the coming forward. The post that was holding him up, I believe they painted him out and they did kind of a roto on that, as we would say. And then this is sort of the over-the-shoulder monster shot where Mike was reacting on the ground, and you can see that he's just this puppet was just built on a 2x4 basically, with a long wire armature going through up to the head, and this chunky flesh thing going on the outside. And I just sort of guesstimated the angle here. We didn't have any on-set measurements as we would usually have for an effect shot like this, where you're matching an animation element to a live action element. You'd always have your camera readings and distances measured. And we didn't have any of that, but we did have the plate, and I think I had a basic idea of what lens it was. So it ends up matching up pretty well. Anyway, Mike did the sculpt on the matching of the gimp's head, arms, head and hands, and I did the final finish on the puppet, matched the paint job with the previous scene, and in film, which Mike had given us on High 8, and did the clothing, which was kind of a challenge because I'm not a seamstress, or I ended up using some G.I. Joe clothes that I sort of altered and painted.
Which was a lot of fun, but it
I just sat there with the Keystone beer watching it while they were doing it.
Now what's in store for all these filmmakers who have the cult hit?
Yeah, what do you do with all this money and stuff that's just rolling in?
There's no money.
Yeah.
We're poor.
Okay.
But we have parlayed a lot of our relationships we built into future projects and things like that. We've been doing some short films in the past about 2-3 years, and we're getting ready to start our next feature, Isolation, ghost story with a twist. It's kind of an 80s style horror movie with a new millennium sensibility about it. We've also got another project in the works, which is a black comedy about gangsters, bookies, and hitmen and whatnot. And we're talking to some really exciting people about being in the cast, and some have already jumped on board. So we're going to have to go out there and work hard and drum up some cash and hopefully bring you guys some more entertainment.
Hopefully soon.
You have to work on your craft. No matter who you are, what you are. Don't let whatever people call deformities get in the way of what you want to do in life. You can be anything you want to be. And I think, acting allows me to express myself. Express myself emotionally, physically, and in doing so, I feel like I can be more tender and sensitive towards the opposite sex. Well, one day I was coming back from my homeland. I live up in the hills, and I had just gotten back from school. See, I attended Juilliard, and I had many success there, but unfortunately there weren't too many parts with for guys with 3 eyes. So I came over here after taking a few acting classes with Uta Hagen, and I was on my way to venture to see my spiritual twin brother Tom Cruise, but didn't make it quite down to California. Stopped in Oregon instead and met this really funny man by the name of Mike Prosser. And he looked at me, and I looked at him, and I looked at him, and I looked at him, and he said, you know, I have the perfect part for you. And I said, how did you know I was an actor? I was kind of thinking to myself, it would be kind of cool, you know, to play something, you know, like a part, you know, closer to who I am, you know, like a lover, or I was trying to let that be known to Mike, and but he had informed me that this was a sci-fi slash horror movie, and I'd never done one of those before, and it was a stretch for me. I thought maybe, you know, something cool could come out of it, you know, it'd be a way to pick up on chicks, you know, on or off set. I was told that, you know, there would be chicks. I thought, you know, with a little bit of makeup, you know, you might be able to get away with it. The makeup process was certainly a lot more tedious than I thought it would be. But I am an actor, a professional actor, that will go through that process if it's going to create the illusion of what it's, you know, supposed to be. You know, so I had to put on fake dentures. That's scary. I had to put black goo in my mouth, and that was that was gross, you know, but not unlike, you know, a time where I kind of screwed up in changing my oil. Kind of similar to that event, but I won't go too into that. What I want to say, though, is Jeff and Mike are professionals, and it was easy to wear those dentures and various other accoutrements and feel the role. I thought, oh, I'll just go in there, you know. I just stop at 7-Eleven, pick up a Slurpee, drink that, you know, on my way to set, go in there for an hour or two, you know, at the most, be done with my scene, and then sign autographs and go on with my life. But unfortunately, it took a lot longer than that. They only used my arm in one location, and then they used my whole body in the other location. And basically what happened is I got turned into a little doll. And you only see a few shots in the film that are really me, you know. I'm probably in the film for about a whole total of 20 seconds for that about 10 hours of work I did. During the rehearsal process, Mike comes up to me, and the DP, Jeff Yarnell, they come up to me, and they had this idea, and they thought, you know, this would be a really good idea, you know, if you went without pupils in your eyes. That would be kind of scary, and I agreed, although I was like kind of resistant of, you know, putting any contacts in my eyes or whatever, and being told it also wasn't in the budget, whatever budget there was. I decided I would just do whatever it took to make the pupils disappear from my eyes. So I took a couple days with a Swami, and he was able to help me maneuver my eyes in such a way that I would have no pupil. And they haven't come back since. That's been the only difficult part of the process. Yeah. But after it was said and done, I thought there would be more of me in it. I'll tell you the honest to God truth. But I'm watching it. I'm watching the end, and I'm excited. I mean, when I do that one part, you know, it's scary, man. It's scary, and I wish I could have had a line. You know, I mean, we had explored a few different lines, explored a few things of what to say. You know, watch out! I mean, you know, I threw things out there. I'm an improvisational type actor. I get into it, I'm method. Do you know who I am? You know, like, I come from hell. You know, that's scary, you know? I mean, that builds anticipation, you see, which creates suspense. And I believe, through my watching of many of Alfred Hitchcock movies, that suspense is the key to creating, you know, vivid, you know, if you just go, that's all it's going to show up on the camera, you know. And what you got to do is you got to look deep inside yourself, you know. A lot of people think, oh, it's just makeup, it's just effects, you know, so, you know, just let all the handiwork do its job, you know, the computers and the camera and the people fiddling with the, you know, the morphing and, you know, and all that stuff. And they think that's it. You don't have to do any acting. Well, that's bullshit. I'll tell you what, I spent many an hour looking in the mirror without any pupils, mind you, so I can't see a damn thing, but I could feel the mirror, and in that way, I was able to work on my expression. And I don't know if any of the other actors on set did that. I could tell you that, you know, the person, that actor who played Dean, he wasn't working on any goddamn expressions. He wasn't doing any of that stuff. I kept telling him, dude, try this, do this or something, you know, maybe a little more expressive. And he was, you know, he wanted to do his own thing. But I'm not trying to bag him or anything. Really, what I'm trying to say is, was I'd be making a few choices, you know, on set for my role, my character. And they just get kind of, you know, shoved aside, you know, no, just do the thing, you know, just, you know, do more of that, you know, and everybody was like so pleased with that, yeah, you know. I felt, you know, my part was like, you know, the people waited a goddamn almost hour and a half before I come onto the scene, and this is what they wanted, you know. I mean, before I come along, it's no horror film. I mean, the thing is just, it's a thriller at most, a comedic thriller at most. I mean, you know, we've seen, you know, people get raped before. We've seen this. We've seen, a refrigerator with disappearing apples. I mean, I supply the horror. And when I saw it, I thought, you know, it's scary. It's scary. It could have been scarier. But I've been told that if there was ever a sequel, I'd be able to broaden myself a little more. I mean, this was my first effort on film, you understand. Now, I'd done a lot of stage work before this, but this is my first effort on film. So I just did what I was told to do, you know. I did what, you know, to make it easy on everybody there. I wasn't going to, like, get a big ego or anything, you know. But I think on hindsight, I felt like there was probably more I could have added to this role. And I think everyone, now that the fans have seen me at various Fangoria conventions and whatnot, I think they would think the same. I think they'd feel like, hey, there needs to be more of the GIMP. I've tried my hand at Shakespeare. I figured I'd make a really good Richard III, you know. I mean, I was getting into the villain thing, the monster thing, you know, but everyone just kind of got a little scared before I even started reading, and that was that. And no babes, no agent. I got nothing out of it, really. Still looking for work. So if you know anybody, anybody's making a film or whatever, could use somebody with, you know, the charisma that I have, you know, let me know. You know, acting is a flower that's helped me blossom into the person I am today. And I owe Yeah, I'll say it. I owe Mike Prosser a hell of a lot, for giving me this opportunity. And I know, even though it's been 7 years now, I know there's going to be another shot in my future. And I pray every day, every single goddamn day, that it will. I said this before, and people laughed, but it really is true. I don't recommend anyone taking that goddamn generic aspirin, I mean, look what happened to me. It's just not worth the 3 cents you save per aspirin, I mean, thank God, thank God I lost my pupils and I can't see myself, because sometimes I just think I must be a freak. But I've made buddies, I've had friends, you just gotta sit on the bus, on the old TriMet, and you can make a friend. But it's lonely. And if there's anybody out there who has a place, in their movie for a guy like me, or a woman who has a place in their bed for a guy like me, I'll take it any day of the week, baby. Yeah!
Water. In the dream, I'm surrounded by dark water. I'm rowing a boat, a raft of some kind across a lake. I've had this dream for years, mostly in the summer. Each year it becomes more clear. Last night, I almost caught my reflection in the water.
You boys need a lift?
Maybe this lady up ahead's a naturopath or a midwife or something. Knows the ancient backwoods art of leg mending.
Or maybe she's a witch with magic potions.
Is there something I can do for you fellas?
You robbed a bank.
You what?
Karma. Big payback, man.
going on.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to startle you.
Buried deep within the world we live, an evil force thrives behind a dark veil of absolute mystery. Following the scriptures of their twisted religion, the Brotherhood awaited the arrival of their savior. But what they got was me.
Everyone here is someone just like you. Someone who just needs a place to stay and maybe a little guidance in their lives. If you join us, you'll save yourself from a hell that once unleashed will consume the world.
You mean live here with you and everyone else?
I think that's in your best interest. As a matter of fact, you have no choice.
I'm getting out of here tomorrow and I suggest you come with me.
Meet Hilda Humphrey, the innocent girl next door, until one moment changes her entire life. She becomes every boy's dream and every parent's nightmare.
I think I'm pregnant.
A hell child. Starring Xenia Sieber, star of Sci-Fi Channel's Lex, and featuring Thomas D. of Fantastic Four. Hellchild. Available on DVD and VHS.
Fuck is my lighter? No action, dude.
God. Oh. He's got the emergency brake on still.
Yeah, you can smell it. Get it.
Hey, get the emergency brake! Emergency brake!
Emergency
Take the emergency brake off! It is off! We can smell it!
When do you want me to put on the headphones? Or just whenever I want to?
After my first line, Brian.
Like after your first line?
Yeah.
Somewhere, should I do it after your first line?
Yeah. Hey, man. Am I getting to you? Am I bothering you?
Yeah.
Are you mama's boy, man? Is that it? Yeah. What the fuck is the deal with you?
You were crying, dude, right?
You bring this guy along for
A tear was coming down, right, when he was doing that?
A tear came out of my eye.
Coming down?
This
The first man to go to Mars found out it was too hot.
Don't open the flu.
So where are you boys from? Oh, we're old college buddies from Eugene. Oh, Eugene, eh? Nah. Never been there. Been to Portland once. I'll be damned, that's so. Yeah, I didn't like it much. Too big, not enough nature. Yeah. Where'd you say town is? Oh, well, we forgot a line. There's another one in there. Is there? Yeah. Where'd you say town is? Oh, no, I'm not taking, I'm taking to some house, I'm taking to the house of some friends. Town. No, I'm not taking you. Take 6. Take 6. I'm taking you to some friends of mine. Have another cigarette. Sir, you not call me sir. My name's Al. You call me Al.
Thank you, Al.
No, it's my pleasure. I'm always...
Okay.
My pleasure. Always happy. I'm happy all the time. Take 8.
Keep it quiet back there.
I got a
Okay, shut up,
for
please.
this fucking scene, the way you guys are doing it.
Stop eating the jerky. Yeah. Okay.
God has a hard-on for this film. The way you guys are going.
Wow.
Oh, nailed him, man.
If I had to drink it, then you're gonna wear it, dude. Hurry! Hurry! Go! Basketball game on! Hurry! Josh!
Fine piece of work.
It was a possum.
Yeah, that'll do it every time. Well, hop on in. Can't promise that my driving will be any better, or my dialogue. We're rolling.
And ready, and action!
So where are you boys from?
Oh, we're all college buddies from Eugene.
Oh, Eugene. Mm-hmm. Oh.
Cut!
How's that?
We haven't passed anybody on the road. Haven't seen a house in sight. Where the hell are we?
Oh, beats me. Beats the fuck out of me.
Take 2!
Jesus, man. Just do it again. I looked right at the fucking thing, man.
You can't follow them because we'll see the road.
Oh, that's right.
Can I get this in the shot?
So you want me to walk like
You look like Fines. Walk right past the camera. God damn. Jesus, is that a full moon?
Good Lord.
Okay, get ready.
What you been eating, boy?
Greg, keep your shirt up like that. We couldn't see it in the last shot.
You couldn't?
No.
Yeah,
no. That's really nice.
Do it. Fine. Oh, no. Turn to your side. Give us a profile. Other way.
The other way, in the shot.
Oh, yeah. What are you expecting, man?
Who stole the chicken?
Talk with your belly button. You got me all side of your ass.
Jesus.
Hey! You're a lousy shot.
Cut. Jillian?
30 without the earrings, take 1.
On the eye, remember. There you go.
Except you're gonna follow through with that too.
Oh. You didn't get me. That was very close.
I heard a little.
You felt the power.
I think I'm gonna go find a phone.
I'm sure it should be working soon.
Yeah, well, I fucking forgot the lines.
That's right. It's nature's own makeup.
Have you seen Cabin Boy yet?
Nope. Oh, that feels good. Massage the other temple.
We must keep up appearances until the hour comes when the souls can be joined and divided.
Look at me. I'm not dead. See that?
I don't know what the hell I'm saying.
Nothing can be done? Somehow I doubt that.
Now, Josh, wait.
Stay away from the house.
And action.
Jesus, Peter, get the fuck off her! Jesus, Peter, get the fuck off of her!
Maybe actually speed that up in post.
Take 2. And action.
You think I'm joking?
You don't have the balls, Peter. You know, you hide like behind that head. I'm sorry. Yeah. Behind that head.